Okay, so you are well welcome. And as I said, today we are going to look at the concept of water, acids, base, and buffer. So, what is water? A water is an inorganic compound that made up of a two main elements. And these two main elements that made up of water is hydrogen and oxygen. And how this hydrogen and oxygen produce a molecule of water is through a chemical reaction. And this chemical reaction is when two molecules of hydrogen react with one molecules of oxygen gas to generate water molecules. And of course, this oxygen are joined or are bonded together with hydrogen through what you call a hydrogen bonding. Remember from the basic knowledge of chemistry that we have different types of chemical bonding. And these types of chemical bonding, we have covalent bonding, we have hydrogen bonding, we have metallic bonding, and we have electrocovalent bonding. So now the question is, what types of bonds do exist between hydrogen and oxygen? So remember from the basic knowledge of chemistry, a hydrogen bonding is a bond that exists between hydrogen and the most electronegative element. So we have three electronegative elements. And these three electronegative elements, we have oxygen, we have fluorine, and we have nitrogen. So in this case, we have oxygen and hydrogen. So therefore, the types of chemical bonds, we do have electropositive element and electronegative element. So in the case of water molecules, oxygen is electronegative element and hydrogen is electropositive element. So these two elements, hydrogen and oxygen, combined together through a hydrogen bond. Oxygen combined together through a hydrogen bond to produce a water molecule. And of course, one very interesting thing that we should understand, what are the importance of water? The most abundant biomolecules or the most important substances that is found on Earth is water molecules. Like for example, we know that the Earth is made up of different components. Earth is made up of land. It is also made up of, apart from land, it made up of ice and water. So the fat of the earth is largely occupied by water. So therefore, water occupied a large percentage. It occupied a large percentage. It is the most abundant molecules that are found on earth. And of course, one very interesting thing that we should understand, you should ask yourself this question. Why is it that we are doing biochemistry, why are we talking about? So you know that we have been talking about cell. So even within a cell is or in a living organism. In a living organisms, water occupy the largest percentage. And I hope you are. Can you clearly? It's like some of you are complaining about network. I hope it is now clear because from my own side here, I don't have any network issue, and I hope that you don't have network issue from me. Okay, so thank you. Is it Maureen? So I hope you can all clear. Okay, thank you very much. So now the question is, we are talking about water. So why is it that that we are doing biochemistry, but now we are talking about water? So what is the importance of water in a living organism? So the importance of water in a living organisms, as we are talking about, it is actually the large percentage of the living organisms or the large percentage of the body system is made up of water. In fact, in a living organisms, like about 70%, about 70 to 90%, about 70% to 90% of a living cell, about 70% to 90% of a living cell is made up of water. And one very interesting thing that we should understand is that there are what you call metabolic processes that are taking place. That is metabolic activities. Metabolic activities. That is what you call metabolic activities. And what is metabolism? Metabolism is a sum total of all biochemical reactions that are taking place in the body. So when you add all biochemical reactions, and one thing that we should understand in a living organism, or in each and every living organism, because of the metabolism that are taking place in our body. Because within living organisms, there is a reaction, or there are so many reactions that are taking place in our body. Like for example, currently now that I'm talking, as I'm talking currently right now, is because there are metabolic processes that are taking place in my body. That is why I control what I'm saying. I'm even talking. In fact, you are even listening to me. It's all as a result of metabolic reactions that are taking place in the body. So when we add when we sum all the biochemical reactions that are taking place in our body, that is what you call metabolism. So the sum total of all biochemical reactions that are taking place in our body is called metabolism. And of course, this metabolism is divided into two. So one, we said metabolism is a sum total, or is a total of all biological reactions that are taking place in each and every living organisms. And of course, as we are talking now, there are like three different types of metabolism. We have what we call number one, we have what we call catabolism. And number two, we have what we call anabolism. We have catabolism, we have anabolism, and then also we have what we call amphibolism, which is the last three. So as I'm saying, number one, we have catabolism, we have anabolism, and the last one is amphibolism. Yes, someone is asking the definition of metabolism. So metabolism is a sum total of all chemical reactions that are taking place in the body. As I said, we have thousands and millions of reactions that are taking place each and every day in our body system. So the sum total of all these biochemical reactions that are taking place in the body, or the biological reactions that are taking place in the body, is what we call metabolism. And this metabolism is divided into three. We have three types of metabolism. We have catabolism, we have amphibolism, and then we have what we call anabolism. So when we say catabolism, it means when you have a larger molecules like carbohydrate that we have talked about. We have, like for example, glycogen is an example of a macromolecule. So when glycogen breaks down to produce glucose, of course, glycogen is a polysaccharide made up of thousands of glucose. So when glycogen is breaking down to produce a smaller molecules known as glucose, that is what you call catabolism. And then anabolism is when smaller molecules, one, two, or three molecules join together to produce